Yo, what's going on, guys? In this commentary, I'm going to be telling you a story about buying my son some shoes that just happened recently. But before we jump all into that, the gameplay is a mellow gamer. I think he goes 66-4. And actually, he was sent to me from my boy Capgun, which I'm pissed off, Capgun. If you see this video, why we no play no more? We got to set up a fucking play date or something so we can get some games in. And speaking on that note, also, FD Chick, if you're watching this video, we need to start setting up play dates. We don't get to play together. But, there are some people that I want to get some games in with soon. Hopefully, we'll get that taken care of, hopefully very soon. But, let's get into this commentary. So, I'm going to talk about this for a few different reasons. But, the basic gist of this is, I called up and went over to wow. I asked my son basically what kind of shoes he wanted. He wanted us to get him some shoes, but at first he didn't want to go with us to get the shoes. So I said, alright, what kind of shoes do you want? My son is 12 years old. My son said, I want some Jordans. Now, my son never in his life has asked me for Jordans. He's never even asked me for Nikes. He gets Nikes, Reeboks, whatever. He's actually, until he was about 10, okay, let me start back. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around. When he was very, very young, I would go out and buy him Nikes and Reeboks and whatever I could get him, $60, $70 shoes. And then when he got around, let me say, 6 or 7, I started letting him pick his own shoes. My son would rather go to Walmart and get those Velcro shoes because he was too lazy to tie his shoestrings. This went on from, all the way up to he was about 9 or 10. That's usually what he would end up. We go show him Nikes, whatever. He didn't give a fuck. He wanted the shoes that he could put on that were easy to get on and get off. Like slip-on shoes, Velcro fucking shoes, all that kind of stuff. But then, last year, when he was 11, we bought him a couple pairs of shoes. I think we bought him a pair of Nikes, some running shoes. I think they might have been Asics or something. They were like $60 running shoes because he was complaining that his shoes were uncomfortable. So we bought him some of those running shoes and the Nikes. And if I'm not mistaken, he got a pair of Converse too because he liked the way that they looked or whatever. But regardless, when he started school this year, he was wearing the Nikes because he had barely wore them or whatever. I mean, he's a kid, so kids' shoes get fucked up pretty quick anyways, but it don't even matter. But he gets to school, and I guess 2 or 3 days before we asked him what kind of shoes he wanted, some kid had made fun of his shoes. And he said, what's wrong with my shoes? And the kid said, oh, your shoes are cheap. Your shoes are getting old. You need to get some new shoes, blah, blah, blah. So, my son proceeds to look at this kid's shoes, and I guess he's got some, from what I seen from where my son showed me, he had either some Jumpmans, or maybe, if he was lucky, some retro Jordans that were like, even now, when they re-brought them out as retros, are a couple years old. So, regardless, basically what happened is someone tried to punk my son over his shoes and tell him that his shoes were trash. And that kind of pissed me off. So I took my son to the mall. We took him to the mall and we asked him, to point out. We went to Foot Locker, Champs, all the places that, where they sell Jordans. And asked him to find either the Jordans that the kid had or the most similar ones he could find. Now, my wife's thinking of this was, why are you going to buy him the same ones that he has? And I said, no, I'm going to buy him some better ones. Because we all know that nowadays, it used to be Jordans came out and that was it. They had Jordan like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to like 13, 15, and they were expensive as fuck. Now they have Jumpmans, they have other athletes that have shoes that are under the Team Jordan label, blah, blah, blah. And they all range in prices from like $60 to $150. And the ones my son showed me, I think, were $69.99 that the kid had. And I just told him, which ones do you like? And the ones that he pointed out that he liked were 120 something. So that's what he got, because that's what he said he liked and he wanted. And basically, I told him when he went to school, you know, if the kid tried to say anything else, that, you know, to tell him that his Jordans were better than his or whatever, to shut him the fuck up. And the funny thing is on this story that the next day my son goes to school and the kid's like, he supposedly a few of the kids were like jealous that he had them. They were like, "Oh, those are some dope shoes or whatever." But the kid that was talking all the shit, basically all he could say was, "Oh yeah, those are good, but they'd look better on me." Well, guess what, fucker? Tell your parents to go buy you some, bitch. And basically the whole concept of this whole commentary is that a lot of you guys that watch my videos are younger, and some of you guys are older. And all the guys that are older, like me, probably went through the same shit. It's something that's been going on in society for a long time. I remember as a kid, you go get Nikes, and then someone would come, you know, like groups of people. They would come and say, "Well, my Nikes are better than yours. I don't even know why you buy Nikes if you don't buy these good, expensive ones." Like, basically the mentality that children are being raised with is that there's the haves and the have-nots, and if they have something that you don't, then they're better than you. As in, what kind of jeans they wear, what kind of shoes they wear, you know. I remember in school, little kids talking about how their mom and dad, "My mom and dad just went and bought a new car." What kind of cars your mom and dad have? Like, who gives a fuck? You know, really, like, really, in reality, who gives a fuck? Most of us grow up and we're in our 30s. Like me, look. I've had Jordans. I don't think with the mentality of, I just got some money, I gotta go buy some Jordans. Honestly, the fucked up thing is now I don't give a fuck. I mean, I still wear Nikes, Reeboks, name brand shoes. But my first thing that I ask the guy in the fucking shoe store when I go in, what is the most comfortable pair of shoes that you have? And that's it. And then if those look too ugly, then I say, okay, what's the next most comfortable? Because my whole thing now is I buy a pair of fucking shoes. I want the motherfuckers to feel good. I don't give a fuck about, you know, exactly what they look like or whatever. If they look okay and they feel good, that's all I care about. But, you know, it's something that's went on since I was a kid, and we're talking about 15 years later, the shit's still going on. I think it's retarded. If somebody's fucking with you guys at school, you know, in the end, it doesn't really fucking matter. I wouldn't worry about it. But I don't know. I just felt like I could have told my son, you know, I'm not going to go pay $130 for some Jordans. And, you know, you got decent shoes, deal with it. But at the same time, I thought to myself, you know what? That shit happened to me when I was a kid. My parents wouldn't have went out and bought me the Jordans. They would have said, we're not paying $120 for some shoes. Get a job, which I actually had a job when I was 12, 13, 14, and 15 to tassel corn. And I did buy decent shoes then. But, you know, I didn't have that option when I was a kid. So my mentality of this was, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go buy my son some Jordans. And if my son comes back in 2 or 3 weeks and say, oh, now that kid's got Jordans just like mine, I'll go buy him another fucking pair of Jordans just because I'm a dickhead like that. And I get tired of seeing that type of mentality with people because my son never acted like that. And he would never have, you know, if he had the Jordans and the other kid didn't, he never would have made fun of the kid for not having Jordans because that's not how he is. But that's how the majority of kids are. So now I'm that dickhead father that you fuck around, I will outdo your parents all fucking day. Even if I had to go get a job, a second job, and a third job, my son's not going to be fucked with about what kind of shoes he has or anything like that. As stupid as it sounds, I will go out and get it. And then basically as a fuck you to that kid and his parents for talking shit. But anyways, I'm out. Peace.